What's up, Bob? Good to see you.
Good to see you. Heard you were out of town for a bit.
Yes, I went to Calgary, Canada to visit the folks at EMM Labs.
Oh, wow. What did they make?
Ed Meitner, analog, digital. Yeah.
Great electronics.
Yeah.
Old school.
Yeah. He's, dude, seriously, blown away. And I'm not saying this lightly. I've seen other factories, and from a factory perspective, quote unquote, it's not like Boulder, right? Because I've been to Boulder, right? That's impressive. They got their CNC machines and all that stuff. They do that in house. These guys don't, right? They have a third party company that machines to their specs and all that, obviously. Gotcha. But from an engineering perspective, strictly talking about the circuit design and all that, dude, unbelievable.
Yeah. I remember liking their gear back in the early 90s.
Yep.
I haven't heard it in years, but
yeah, you'd like it. It's really damn good. Wide bandwidth, wide open.
When are you doing a video on it?
Yes.
When? Do you know?
Oh, when? Probably next weekend. Not
cool.
This weekend, next weekend.
I look forward to it.
Should be a good one.
So I recently found some interesting records.
No,
not my own collection.
Seriously?
I did. Well, I found one you know really well that we will suggest everybody get, because I know you bought a copy from me.
Hang on. Let me see. So, Ricci, yes. Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah. One of my favorite violinists, very well recorded.
I was just on the classical bums last night, which of course is the jazz bums, but all classical.
Yeah.
Ricci, man, fantastic. That's a great one.
Audiophile quality sound, if you get the right copy, because I've got multiple copies of it.
Of course you do.
And you bought one of my better ones back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, highly recommended for beginners in classical, because I'm not exactly a classical aficionado by any stretch of the imagination, but I like violinists. I like the easy stuff to like high fits and that you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Paganini, Gamba,
good place to start.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Another cool thing I just wanted to show, because last week we were talking about you had asked me about Brubeck Time Out.
Yes.
And I was talking about Time Further Out, which Impact released. This is an original mono I picked up, and a lot of people haven't seen this. This is still sealed. Where's the damn
Wow. Look at that.
This is still sealed in the inner baggie, and it had a perforated thing like Mobile Fidelity used to do, where you pull the strip of plastic. Cheesy way to do it, but anyway, this is an original, still sealed. A lot of people don't know that they used to do it this way, so I figured someone might want to see that.
Sure.
Great sounding record. Monos are actually nice, because I mentioned Joe Morello's drumming on that record is amazing, and the bass on mono typically can sound a lot more punchy and fuller in mono compared to the stereo. So if percussion is your thing, you might want to pick up the mono of that just to hear the difference, because they're not big money and they're educational. So
nice.
Then we have. I just picked this up, never seen it before, and mind you, I've been deep into collecting and buying and selling jazz for almost 30 years now, and I just picked this up a few days ago. This is an Impulse, a later Impulse, I'm guessing 66, if I remember correctly. This is Dannie Richmond, great drummer, with the Campbell soup cover. I almost passed on it because I'm like, it didn't look like anything, rummaging, going through records real quickly. But luckily, I stopped and double checked on it and saw that it was Dannie Richmond, and on it is Jackie Byrd on piano, Toots Thielman on guitar, of all things, and Cecil McBee on bass. Cecil McBee was more of a avant-garde bassist in the late 60s and early 70s. So it's unusual for him to be on this. Willie Bobo does some percussion on here.
Ooh, nice.
But sorry folks, I can't recommend it. It's I mean, you could hear it on YouTube or Discogs or whatever.
Dreadful.
That's not dreadful. I mean, some people might like it. I just didn't think it was very good. But it's unusual. I've never seen it. And if you're an Impulse records completist,
yeah,
it's certainly interesting.
Or if you like Campbell's soup.
Exactly. Next up, this has got minor interest purely for its interesting sound. It's an early adventure into stereo on a very, I told you I'd always be bringing in weird labels. This is the Warwick label. This is recorded in 1960, and
never seen that.
And on the back, it kind of explains what they're trying to do. They're doing a stereo. It's almost like a test, like a stereo
demo record. Yeah.
Demo record or whatever.
Wow. That's
and
hilarious.
It tells you where each instrument is, on what track.
I love those.
Unfortunately, it doesn't really tell you who's on it, but I do know Al Cohn is one of the sax players on it. Zoot Sims is one of the sax players on it. And I don't really know who else. It doesn't really say who else is on it. But it has minor interest as a label oddity, a jazz / I would say more easy listening or exotica a little bit maybe, oddity. Certainly not essential to anybody's collection, but it has interesting early attempts at doing a stereo demo thing.
Of course. Yeah.
It's got
classic stuff.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah, of course.
And also on the Warwick label, 2 records, jazz records I can recommend. One is by Curtis Fuller, the trombonist, called Boss of the Soul String Trombone, which is an excellent record and very rare. Buddy Catlett, Buddy Catlett on bass, Walter Bishop on piano. Ooh. Walter Bishop Jr. If you see one of his records in the wild, check him out. He's one of the top hard bop piano players out there. Freddie Hubbard on trumpet, who's one of my personal favorites. Yusuf Lateef on tenor sax, and who's on drums? I don't know. It doesn't say. Anyway, that's also on Warwick, this obscure label. And then there's another Pepper Adams, the baritone player on Warwick. That's quite a good record. And then the rest of the stuff on Warwick is everything from easy listening to it's an odd label.
Gotcha.
But I highly recommend the Curtis Fuller and the Pepper Adams on that. And this one, yeah, it is what it is. All right. Next up,
what do we got?
This, in a lot of ways, is similar to one I showed last week, the Harold Land of doing folk music or folk whatever, but playing real jazz. This is Victor Feldman All-Stars, Soviet jazz themes, on another really odd label called AVA, AVA. But on this, side 1, 2 different sessions recorded in 62. Nat Adderley on cornet. And Nat Adderley, I think, always plays better on other people's records. I love his playing. Harold Land again. Joe Zillenall on piano, who's phenomenal on this. Frank Butler on drums, great drummer. And Bobby Whitlock on bass. Side 2, of course, has Victor Feldman on piano and vibraphone. Herb Ellis on guitar. My buddy who I've mentioned last week, both on the Barefoot Adventure and the Harold Land record, Carmel Jones on trumpet. And again, Frank Butler on drums and Bobby Whitlock. Again, don't let the theme or whatever throw you off. This is a solid jazz record. The first track, Ritual Alone, you can pull that up on YouTube. It's called Ritual. It's a solid. It's you feel like you're listening to a good Blue Note session. It's that vibe. So this is a solid record. Again, is it essential? It's up to you. But I'm just kind of pointing out oddities, odd labels, odd records that actually have great playing on it and aren't what you think because of the title, you know?
Yep. That's killer. That looks really good. I got to check that out.
It is cool. And it's recorded by Bones Howe. Recorded by the famous Bones Howe. So it's got excellent sound. Yeah, good record.
Nice. Good one.
Unusual one by very early Stanley Turrentine. Stan the Man.
Ah, yes. Ooh, Time Records.
Another unusual label that mostly did jazz. The Time label. There's an amazing Sonny Clark record on Time. Sonny Clark Trio. One of my favorites.
That looks good.
This is a great jam. And in fact, it does have Sonny Clark on piano. George Duvivier on bass. Tommy Flanagan also on a piano. Obviously, it's 2 sessions. Tommy Flanagan on a different piano session. And Max Roach on drums.
Max Roach, nice.
Top guys, really good record. Not too expensive when you see it in the wild. The Time is the original label. It also came out on Mainstream Records. If you remember Mainstream, they did a lot of psych records and Big Brother and the Holding Company, that kind of thing. That label.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of cool. So that's my kind of group today. Oh, and I just want to show off another one I actually just found in one of my personal boxes that I hadn't looked at in a while.
Ooh! No way!
Dude, I think Tone Poet or somebody just reissued it. Donald Byrd on Transition.
Sam Records. Yeah, Sam Records out of Paris.
Rare. This is an original, and like most originals, the labels fell off.
Wow!
So I got only one side has a label. And it came with a booklet. The back's black. So to figure out who's on it, you'd have to have the booklet or do the research on Discogs, which I did not do.
That's killer, man. Nice. Yeah, that came out a couple of years ago. Sam Records. Yep.
Was it Sam? No.
Yes. Yeah, Sam Records. Okay. Yep. Yeah.
Well, this is an original, and these, trust me, when I say rare as hen's teeth.
Oh yeah.
They're more, almost as rare, or probably more rare than the original debut records that Charlie Parker is on, and there's a current reissue on debut that it'll come to me in a minute. But yeah, some seriously rare records.
I like it. Good times.
Odd quick group. The Sonics.
So I'm gonna rename our little series into a podcast. I think that might gain a little more traction. Hopefully it will.
What's the difference?
I don't know. I just noticed it myself that when I come across something that says podcast on YouTube, I know it's going to be more of a long form discussion rather than like a, review or presentation or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I know what I'm getting, right? So
let's talk about these records in more detail. You said you wanted down and dirty.
Oh, absolutely. We should do in the next couple of weeks, we should try to do a live one maybe.
Yeah, sure. I was since you bailed on me yesterday, I was thinking of doing some of the best of Blue Note, because I know that's near and dear to a lot of people's heart. I mean, and like we had talked about in the beginning, we don't want to do another Tone Poet video. That they're being done to death, of course. But
correct.
There's plenty of stuff to talk about, of course, within the Blue Note catalog that maybe a lot of people aren't aware of. Like when I see people's lists of great sounding Blue Notes, they leave out. I mean, let's inform people about something. I started out as an audiophile record dealer. That's the first records I ever sold. Mobile Fidelities, Sheffields, all that stuff back in the day. That's how I started out. That's how I met Tom Port, dealing in audiophile records. Specifically, it only was a little later that I started accumulating these jazz records and realizing how expensive they were, that I started selling off some of my duplicates in jazz, and then I became a dealer in that. But point being is, I do have pretty good focus on what sounds great and what's just adequate or average, whatever. And like for instance, well, I'll save it, but there's a few Blue Notes that have spectacular sound, and they're not exactly audiophile records in general. I mean, a lot of people think they are because they love the music, and that's fine. I love it too, and some of them
and
do.
They haven't been reissued, or
pardon?
They have not been reissued.
No, most of them have, but the point is, nobody really talks about how amazing the sound is. I mean, in the audiophile world, when you talk about a great sounding jazz record, usually, Contemporary Records comes up because that was known as the most consistently great, well recorded, great jazz label. It's just, I'd say 90% of everything they did is sonically above average. And it's very well known among audiophiles. And the Blue Notes I'm going to probably talk about, they're also well known among audiophiles, but I've been reading, like, just Google what are the best sounding Blue Notes, and I hear people bringing up, yeah, they're great records, but they're not exact. Like Coltrane Blue Train, I'm sorry, it's a wonderful record. It's one of my favorite records. I have 8 copies of it in different iterations, but it's not an audiophile record by any stretch of the imagination. It's good, but it's not audiophile.
Correct.
So I was thinking of doing a little thing on that if people are interested.
Okay, maybe that's the one we'll do live. I think that'll be a good subject.
Yep.
Cool.
Very good.
All
right. So
arigato. Thank you, my friend. We'll see you soon. Until next time. Ciao. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. See you guys. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.